Hi, I'm Gabby, and today I'll be teaching you about the facial bones. With the practice and tips I give, this will honestly be a breeze for you, and you will ace this lab practicum. We're going to start with the orbit. There's a lot of bones that you need to know in this orbit, but with the acronym just say it a couple times. It's kind of silly, but you'll get it. You can learn all of them. So we'll start with sphenoid, ethmoid, lacrimal, palatine, maxillary, zygomatic, and the frontal bones. A really great resource is the app. It's just called Skeleton, but I learned about it in my psychology class, and it really helps with learning the bones of the skull. Using this model from the app can be really helpful in trying to learn the locations of these bones. First, if we want to locate the sphenoid, I can tap on this pin and it'll tell me that I'm right. It's the sphenoid bone and it's the greater wing, and above it is the lesser wing. Next to it, we can find the ethmoid bone, right here. And next to that is the lacrimal. You can find it on the border of the orbit. Below it is the maxilla bone. It extends back there, as you can see. And the zygomatic bone also extends back there, so make sure that you are able to identify that. And the yellow bone above this is known as the frontal bone. That red part, that is the palatine. This app is a great resource for learning to identify landmarks at first, but since we will be using non-colorful skulls, the app also provides just a regular colored skull, and I recommend using that after you feel comfortable identifying the landmarks. Next, we'll be going over the zygomatic arch. It is cut up into 3 parts that we need to know: the zygomatic bone, the zygomatic process of the temporal bone, and the zygomatic process of the maxilla. Using this model again, I can locate the zygomatic bone, which is right here, and it connects to the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. While it's not labeled here, we can find the zygomatic process of the maxilla. Next, we will be looking at the nasal septum. It consists of the vomer and the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. From the side view, the perpendicular plate and vomer sit on each other like this, which is crucial when you're looking at the actual skeleton. And also you can see here what it looks like on the actual human face. The nasal cavity is the space found behind your nose, and it consists of nasal concha, which turbulate the air, and air should undergo turbulence because it can help to catch unwanted things. The nasal concha are divided into 3 forms: the superior, middle, and inferior. We must note that the inferior nasal concha is a bone, while the middle nasal concha is a landmark. For instance, the middle nasal concha of the ethmoid bone. Next, we'll be looking at the mandible. Right here, this is our mandible, and the ramus of the mandible is located right here. It is this whole thing. It's a 90-degree angle. And the coronoid process is right here. It's a process, it sticks out, and a fun way to remember this is you could think of like corn kernel. It kind of looks like the shape of a kernel. Corn, coronoid. Yeah, and then this is the mandibular condyle surrounded. The maxilla is known for holding the keystone bones of the face, as it makes up parts of the upper jaw, the orbit, the nasal cavity walls, and hard palate. To trace the maxilla, we would find it here, 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 and here. So first, the palatine is right here. It is the posterior part of the hard palate. To find the palatine process, it would be located right here, right here. They are the 2 processes that meet at the medial line of the maxilla. The zygomatic process, if you remember, part of the zygomatic arch is found right here. And the infraorbital foramen, they're found right here. And the trigeminal nerve goes through that. Alright, now, I know what you're thinking. What the heck is a trigeminal nerve? Don't worry, as you can tell, this girl doesn't know either. So I thought of a little rhyming phrase to help you never forget. Infra-I, tri-nerve supply. Let's break it down. The trigeminal nerve is found in the infraorbital foramen of a maxilla, as we already know. The tri in trigeminal pertains to how the nerve has three divisions: the ophthalmic branch, maxillary branch, and mandibular branch. But we are discussing in particular the maxillary branch division. Infra and infraorbital means below, so the infraorbital foramen are located below the orbit. So, infra-I, below the orbit, and tri-nerve supply, the trigeminal nerve. The last thing we'll be going over today is the fetal skull. But first, we need to know the lobes again for this, and not just the adult skull. The way I learned the lobes of the brain is by using visual aids. So, for frontal, I go like this: frontal lobe. Parietal, they're right here, parietal lobes. My temporal lobes. In the back is my occipital lobe. However, the fetal skull actually has two frontal bones. So for the fetal skull, you go like this: frontal bones, they have two parietal bones too, two temporal bones, and also only one occipital bone. And the two frontal bones will form into one frontal bone by the age of 8. Now that we know the lobes, we can move on to the fontanelles. Fontanelles are made up of dense, irregular connective tissue, so they are softer than actual bone. This allows the skull to shift a bit, which can be very useful in vaginal delivery. After a child is born, they grow really fast, especially the brain. The brain grows faster than bone, so fontanelles helped to accommodate for the fast-growing brain. The fontanelles are actually super easy to locate. We can find out where they are just based on their name. For instance, the anterior fontanelle. Well, we can deduct that anterior means in front of. So this is going to be the fontanelle that's basically in front of the others. And we can see that in A, it is that diamond-looking shape. Next is the posterior fontanelle. Well, posterior means behind of. So you can see in B that suture is behind all the others. Next is the sphenoid fontanelle, but it is also known as the anterolateral fontanelle. Well, antero is going to be in front of, and lateral it's going to be not in the middle. So we can see that in letter E, it is in front of the fontanelle located in D, but it is also not in the middle. So that is the sphenoid bone. Lastly, we have the mastoid fontanelle, and it is also known as the posterolateral fontanelle. Again, postero, behind of, lateral, not on the middle, it's on the side. So we can deduct that this one, that's it's lower than the anterolateral fontanelle, is going to be the posterolateral fontanelle, otherwise known as the mastoid fontanelle. That's finally it. We did it. We finished the facial bones. With these strategies and acronyms, hopefully you will be sure to get all the facial bones stuck in your head. It's easier than it seems. And if I have done my job here today, please tell me what this phrase is referring to, what the bone, landmark, and nerve is. Thank you for watching.